guys ready to go?
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Going live in 3, 2, 1. Here we are. I'm back. I'm
Who's
back.
back?
Everybody can share it with all your friends. Let everybody know that Picked Off is back because Josh is back. The party is ready to start. No more boring Carter and Bobby.
Oh, man.
Oh, how you doing, Mr. Carter?
I'm doing great, man. Happy to have you back. Well, I was until you said that.
All right, so we got a great show for you today. We got a special guest, as you can see right here in the bottom of your screen, Mr. Pigskin Pete, our Clemson affiliate for Volunteer Roadshow and FanPride.zone. Mr. Pigskin, how you doing this morning, sir?
I'm amazing and fantastic. I'm honored to be a guest on this great show on a milestone, too, the 25th.
The 25th, a quarter century show, our quarter century show.
That's right.
And we brought our brother in orange over from South Carolina to trash talk Alabama, Florida State, and South Carolina.
I can do that all day, every day, brother.
Hey, we all, both of our schools share a mutual hate for all three of them.
Yes.
All right, we got a great show lined up for you today. I'm excited to be back. I'm feeling pumped up. I'm feeling a lot of energy. We've got current events. We've got some Vol history for you. Pete's going to grind his gears in place of Mr. Carter this morning. Pete's got a pretty good segment there, and I think we can all agree with what he's ticked off about. We're going to do our top 5 college traditions not related to your school. So for Carter and I, we can't do the Vols, and for Pete, he can't do the Tigers. But we're going to go around the nation and pick out some of our favorite college traditions. We got a whack-ass tradition following that right up. We're going to go into General Nealon's 7 memes as per usual, a dumpster fire program of the day. We're going to close her out with a salute to the ladies of the SEC. And when I told Pete about that, his camera went dark for a little bit and his mic got muted.
Hands up. Hands up, don't shoot.
Hands above the desk. All right. So, Carter, you ready to kick this pig off?
Yeah, and before we get started, I got to give the old disclaimer out.
Oh, that's right.
Every show. The comments and views of guest and host alike do not necessarily reflect Volunteer Roadshow, BCM Productions, and our sponsors.
Scott Callhorn says, welcome back, Josh. Dave Duke Nukem over there in Facebook says, who's this Josh character on the show? Great to see you back, buddy. Welcome back to the show, Pete. Flint Williams, Duke, Scott, Flint, we appreciate you tuning in. Let's see what's going over on the YouTubes. How many times did Bobby say, what's up, Facebook, what's up, YouTubes, whenever he was filling in for me?
Every damn show.
What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTubes?
Oh, let's see. Then we got NASCAR over on YouTube says, what's up, y'all? Josh is back. Matt Dumit says, good morning. And NASCAR Picked Off is amazing and fantastic. So NASCAR is always trying to get that top comment of the show. So he sucks up to us quite a bit. We appreciate it, NASCAR. Pete, if you're not familiar with the top comment of the show, for the guys that get in the comment section on Facebook and YouTube and churn it up, the most creative comment, the funniest comment, the biggest trash talking comment, whatever stands out to us, we award them a golden keyboard award every show.
Oh.
And with that golden keyboard comes some kind of prize from Carter's prize closet.
Well, so far, I'll give it to NASCAR Vol because he said amazing and fantastic, which is pertinent to the guest you have on today. So
that's right.
That's right.
So
we had to do it big on the 25th. So.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So there you go, guys. Get in that comment section, churn it up. Let's see some creative stuff, and we'll get you that golden keyboard award.
I think we should be more selective. I think we should see a little bit more trash talking.
You want to go trash talk? The biggest trash talk? Is it because Pete's on the show?
We can do something with that.
You want to see somebody just drive the Tiger's head into the dirt? Is that?
Well, I don't know.
Is that what's going to win the prize?
I think if Pete can see the comments, we'll let him pick the winner at the end of the show.
I
That way,
can, I
there's
can,
no bias. You know.
yeah, I can see him.
Okay.
All right. Well, you'll pick the winner at the end of the show then.
All right.
All right, moving right along. Let's jump into current events. Big news out of the Ivy Leagues here. Carter, you wanna run this one down?
Yeah, the dominant, powerful Ivy League. They're
Yeah,
not going to play football until the spring.
it's
So
just not going to be college football without Harvard and Yale
yeah,
duking it out for the high school trophy in college football.
yeah. Old Yale. They won't be able to play in the Yale Bowl till the spring.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the oldest stadiums, but it's like one of the crappiest looking ones too.
They have more national championships in Alabama, don't they?
They do, I believe.
Yeah, I think they got like 20 something.
Yeah.
And theirs are more credible.
Yeah, they got 20 something, and at least 17 of those are legitimate and not claimed, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Right.
Whereas Alabama has like 6 and they claim 17. Is that
It's
does that
more
seem,
like
does that
10,
seem
but
about
something
right?
like that.
I was gonna say 10 or 11.
Yeah, but this is Tennessee Volunteer Show, so it's more like 6. Bernice Jones wants to know who was the football player that got shot and killed. Carlson should run for office, any office good enough to tear down that establishment. Who was it? Did a football player get shot and killed?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything either.
Talking about a college football player or an NFL football player?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Bernice always comes with the interesting questions. Usually she's educating us on something whenever she drops a question in here. I hadn't heard anything about it yet, Bernice, unless you're talking about something that was a little bit older in news, that's kind of gone through the news cycle. I'm not sure what you're talking about. If you can elaborate, maybe what school he was from or what team he played for.
Yeah, because I'd like to know.
And then Scott Calhorn says, "I like my violence like my beer. Domestic, sincerely, Alabama fans." Golden keyboard candidate.
Yeah. That's definitely a golden keyboard candidate there.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. That's the kind of stuff we want to see, guys. We love it. Let's see. As always, the super chats are open, but the wheel of misfortune is closed today. We're just not prepared for it. So last week, I'll give you guys a little bit of the spiel about why I was gone and everything. Last week and the week before, I was supposed to. So my grandfather got really sick, went to the hospital, had to deal with that, and being around family and things like that. And then somewhere in the middle of that, we were supposed to have a little family vacation. However, I did bring my little mini studio with me to do the show from from my in-laws' place where we were vacationing, and plugged my computer in and instantly got the blue screen of death. So my computer went all to crap, and we had to scramble and come up with a fill-in, and then waiting for the new computer to come in, load it up, and rebuild the show on OBS and all that stuff is the reason why I've been out for so long. It was supposed to be 2 shows. It turned into what, 4 or 5?
Yeah, it's 4, I believe.
4, yeah. So, yep, that's it. And I apologize, but stuff happens. Couldn't be helped. All right, moving into current events. We've already been talking about current events. I'm sorry, moving into Vol history. In honor of Pigskin.
Uh-oh.
The 1974 Clemson Tennessee game. Carter, you want to take
That's
this
right. Yeah, 1974 Tennessee had a horrible start. I remember because I was there in my DeLorean time machine. No, just kidding. But no, this is actually a game that's very well known among Tennessee fans as a classic because this is when Condredge Holloway was playing. I'm sure most of y'all Tennessee fans have seen The Color Orange, 30 for 30, one of my favorites. But anyway, we're playing Clemson. Tennessee's 2-3-1 at this point, and we're driving it down the field. We ended up scoring, and we could kick the extra point and tie the game, or we could go for 2 to win it. And Holloway hits Larry Severs over the top and ended up winning the game. And I think we got a clip here. Josh will play. but I'm sure Pete will enjoy this.
We do.
Mhm.
All right, guys. There's no sound on this clip, so bear with us. We'll just talk through it here. But here you go.
This is going to be a great clip. I can tell already.
Yeah.
I want to see a clip from the 2003 Peach Bowl after this one, though.
Running the option. Tennessee running a little option. I love it. Bernice says they said he played for the Vols. I hope he did not. It was on Facebook. We're gonna have to look into that. It's possible that in the midst of building the show this morning that we missed headline news. I don't know if Carter, if you can check out Twitter or anything like that and see if there's anything on it. Let's see. Or you guys in the comment section, if anybody knows anything about what Bernice is talking about, please fill us in.
Yeah, I see Big Vol Daddy's in the comment section here. BVD, he's pretty good at looking stuff up with that cricket phone he's got. Hey, BVD, can you look that up and see?
It's a cricket phone. Gavin Clips is in the YouTube chat. Says hey, and NASCAR prayers for your grandfather. I appreciate it, guys. He's a tough old. Well, I mean, I guess I can say it. He's a tough old bastard. My grandfather was a Gold Glove amateur boxer, alligator wrestler, and that's not a joke. He was an alligator wrestler professionally for a while. He wrangled alligators out of fishing resorts and lakes in East Texas for the latter half of his career. To give you an idea of what I'm dealing with here, I took a friend to. We were going to New Orleans to hit the casinos. We were about 20 years old. We stopped by my grandfather's house in East Texas. Didn't tell him we were coming. This is back before cell phones were really prevalent. And just surprise popped in on my grandfather. Went to knock on the door. He wasn't answering the door. Um, my buddy was still in the car. I was walking back to the car, and I was just like, well, I guess he's not home. And my buddy just got this look on his face like, what in the world is going on back? He starts pointing to the back of the house. I walk around the corner. There's my grandfather at probably 65, 66 years old, walking from behind the house, shirt off, rippling muscles, and carrying an axe. He had been in the back chopping wood. So he was like, this guy's coming from back here from back in the woods. He's carrying an axe. And I was like, oh, that's my granddad. He's like, that's your granddad? He worked on the oil rigs in Texas, and I mean, he's got all kinds of good, crazy stories, and most of them sound unbelievable, but they're pretty accurate. And now he's had a stroke, and he's had a fall, and he's kind of bedridden, but he keeps getting out of the bed despite nurses and doctors' advice. So that's the kind of tough old guy he is, and he'll do that till he goes to meet with the good Lord, I'm sure. So
sorry I disappeared, guys.
Did you disappear on us, Carter?
Yeah, I felt real sick in my stomach. I thought I was gonna lose my cookies, but I didn't. I'm good.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know.
Man, Carter, I know this color orange here makes you sick, but come on, man.
Every time we do this show, man, seems like you got. You're not nervous, are you, Carter? We're way beyond being nervous.
No, I think I drank that last cup of coffee too fast or something.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. But I'm good now. I just know right when you started playing that clip, I started little beads of sweat started going down my face. I was like, oh shit.
BVD says, I'm not paid enough to look up stats for Picked Off. My job is to give them a shout out on our morning show. Stats? And he's talking about looking up the player that was shot.
Oh.
Pete said he could look it up on his
cricket phone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There you go. All right, so this is rolled into a 67 Bama Clemson game. You want to watch that?
67 Bama Clemson game.
67.
There's no telling who won that game. It's a
3-minute clip. I'm 99% sure that Alabama won that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Carter, what was the final score of that game?
29-28 Tennessee.
The 1-point skid.
Yeah, went for two instead of tying because back then you just you could tie a game. And
yep.
The funny thing about that was, like I said, Tennessee started off 2-3-1, lost to LSU and just some bad teams, and ended up finishing the year after that Clemson game 7-3-2. So they went on to win the rest, and except for one, they tied. So, which we're lucky, man. I mean, could you imagine having to go through a tie? I mean, what would that feel like? I wouldn't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't even. I learned about the NFL being able to end in ties when Donovan McNabb did.
I remember that.
So it absolutely sucks. Why you let a game end in a tie in professional or even college level sports is beyond me. That's why a lot of Americans don't really get the soccer hype. I think it's the ties. I think it's I can score one goal every game for an entire season and lose 9 games, but still be in the final championship game because the number of goals I scored all season.
Mm-hmm.
It's Americans like to win.
Sense.
Americans like to win. So I think that's why but soccer's picking up in the United States,
especially youth soccer.
Yeah, they've got they got a really big following down in Atlanta in their MLS team down there. Yeah. I mean, huge. People say it rivals some of the European League soccer teams' followings. So
that's just because Atlanta's finally got a championship. Well,
yeah.
The Braves won it 95, and somebody said that the other day. So Atlanta finally got a professional title. I was like, what do you mean just finally got one? They've had one. 1995. What are you talking about?
Them 95 Braves.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Don't make me pull out my phone tomahawk. They're trying to take away from me. By God, I'll pull it out.
All right. That's moving on to grinding our gears here, but like I said, we're gonna let Pete do it instead of Carter this morning. Pete, just so you know, what the folks at home are seeing is a big old ugly shot of Carter's mug there.
That's good. Is that's Carter Griffin?
That's Carter Griffin. That's right.
Yeah.
So what's grinding your gears, Pete?
Well, the number one thing has been grinding my gears for probably the past 10 or 15 years anyway, and all of college sports, but in college football in particular, is the cost of attendance to go to a football game. I remember a time, even as short as 20 years ago, where it was a lot more expensive to go to a professional sporting event, especially an NFL game, than it was a college game. And I realize people tell me, since Clemson's been winning in the past 5 years, especially the ticket prices do go up when your team's good. I understand that. But to spend let's put it this way. We bought tickets, my wife and I, to go to Notre Dame this year in South Bend on November 7th. Hopefully we'll get to go to that game. But for the two of us, just for the tickets, and we're not talking about 50-yard line field level seats here, was $900 and something, almost $1,000. Right. Now that doesn't even include, obviously, airfare or driving. I mean, I don't know how far Chicago is a drive from here, or South Bend is from here. Drives a good way. It's probably at least 12 hours, or airfare. Then you got the hotels. Then you got whatever you're doing, Ubering or whatever, or rent a car. Then you got food and obviously a lot of drinking going on with me and my wife. That'll be happening. So by the time it's all said and done, you're talking about a few $1,000s to go to one football game.
Yeah.
Which is just ridiculous. And I think that it's really sad because they're pricing out their biggest fans, because the biggest fans of college football are not wealthy people. They're
right.
Middle class to lower middle class people. And I would go to 3 or 4 games a year. I'm only 3 hours from Clemson. I have no problem driving 3 hours up on a Saturday morning to go to a game. But they're pricing me out of it. We go to 1 game a year if we're lucky, because we can't afford any other games.
So, yeah, it's absolutely absolutely getting ridiculous. I can tell you how you solve that problem, though, Pete. Stop winning.
Well, I,
Because we
I
don't
tell,
have that problem here in Tennessee. I mean, prices are getting higher, but they're not. We're not talking about $950 to go to a game.
well,
Uh,
that's that
nah,
one
yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
No, I get it.
even against like a Boston College or a Wake Forest, it's still ridiculous. And
It
then
is.
if you want to take your kids, we got 2 young children. I'd love to take them to a bunch of Clemson games, but that's another few $100 just to
Hmm.
take them.
Hmm.
So it's
Well,
out of hand.
and you've got there's an argument to be made for you were talking about pricing out the loyal fans, the good fans, the true college football fans, and folks like myself and Carter and you, we keep the programs going. Because when the
Yeah.
programs are down, we're still fans. We still spend our money on merchandise. We still go to the ball games. We still order the sports packages and the SEC network, and I'm sure
Mm,
for you, you've got the ACC network over there, and we keep those programs rolling. And then whenever some success comes around, they jack the prices up, and the wealthy are the ones that get the tickets, and we're stuck sitting at home watching the game in our recliner.
mm.
And getting older, I don't have a problem with that. Staying in the AC with my refrigerator right behind me and a nice soft recliner in a bathroom that I know is clean. But it would be nice to just be able to take. Now at Neyland Stadium, we have the problem of I can't take my family to a game because the kids being so little and the stands being so crowded.
Mm.
Tennessee, if you're at Neyland Stadium, if you're over about 250 pounds, you're into somebody else's seat.
Yeah,
That's how
it's
all college
pretty
stadiums are. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
funny thing, real quick. I told my dad I would tell this story one day on here, and I hope he's watching because my first game was Tennessee, Alabama, and I was only 5 years old. This is in Legion Field, but I believe it was in '97, and I'm 7 years old at this time, and we go to the Tennessee Alabama game, and somebody my dad knew needed tickets, and apparently they were hard. I mean, Tennessee was good then, and of course, this is the last year Alabama's playing in Legion Field. So anyway, it was a big game, and somebody he knew offered my dad a really good amount of money for tickets. So my dad sold them, and me being 7, I'm like, what? Why would you do that? He's like, don't worry, son. I've got our tickets. I just had a couple extras. I said, okay. But he's like, well, look, we got to go ahead and start going. And then he said, I need you to put on this Alabama jacket. I said, no, why would I do that? He's like, you got to put the Alabama jacket on, son, or you're not going to be able to go in the game. And I forgot what he told me. He's like, all right, we got to walk with the band members. I said, okay. He sneaks us in with the band, with the $1 million band, and I'll never forget that. So yeah.
All right. So Carter just admitted that his father committed a crime on air, and that's all right. I love it. I love it. That's a great way to make a little bit of money and go watch Tennessee, Alabama.
Yeah. He never did try it again that I'm aware of. But
I would think that's a one and done type scenario.
yep.
All right. We're moving along here. Let's move into our top 5. Not before we check out the comment section. BVD says, I hope that's refundable. Pete, you might be going to South Bend, but at best you'll be watching that game from your hotel room. There's probably some unfortunate truth to that.
I'll figure that out before I go. I just won't go. If that's the case.
The crime was making his kid wear a damn Bama jacket. That's pretty good.
That's the truth.
Yep. And then over on Facebook, yeah, we're still stuck on. Bernice said that he played for the Vols. So, gosh, man, if there's a Vol player that was shot and killed recently, I want to know about it.
Oh God, that's right. I did hear about this. I can't think of his name. He's an older player. But I don't know the details, so I'm not going to try to speculate on anything. But I have heard of this.
See, I was thinking there was something that happened 3 or 4 weeks ago that maybe she was talking about, and it wasn't like a starter or anybody that had a big. I can't remember who it was now either.
I saw Travis Henry on his Facebook page post about it, I think.
Yeah, maybe that's what she's talking about.
a slice of football with cheese or whatever.
Yeah. All right, moving into the top 5. Jeremy Banks. Oh, yes, we did not discuss that in current events. Jeremy Banks is back on campus at the University of Tennessee.
I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. They announced it yesterday. He was back on campus. BVD says he's back on the team. If you didn't already know that.
Well, that's good news.
they mentioned that he had re-enrolled for the fall semester.
I did know that. Yeah.
They said that he had not officially rejoined the team, but that they didn't see how he would not. So Jeremy Banks is back, and happy to have him back.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, BVD, for reminding me of that. That kid will. There's no telling if he's going to be a running back or a linebacker when he comes back. I think with all the 5-star linebackers that Pruitt's been recruiting, and us losing Tim Jordan, we'll probably see Jeremy Banks back in the backfield carrying the ball. Pete, are you familiar with Jeremy Banks?
I am not.
You got to get on YouTube. Do it after the show if you got some time, and watch Jeremy Banks run the ball. He just does not want to go down. Man, he's kind of a smaller back.
I was gonna say he's like a DeAndre Swift type.
Yeah, probably pretty comparable. Of course, no Heisman talk or anything because we're Tennessee, but yeah, I mean he's an absolute dog. You know who Juwan Jennings is?
Yes.
Kind of the same mentality as Jennings. Like, if you put the ball in my hands, I'm not going down. Yeah, he's an absolute beast. Happy to have him back. All right, so we're doing our top 5 college traditions not in your school. And the way that we do this, Pete, we usually start with number 5 and work our way up to number 1, and we just kind of go round table here. So we'll start it off with Carter. Carter, you can give us your number 5, and then we'll move to you, Pete, and then I'll give my number 5. Then we can move to number 4, so on and so forth.
My number 5 is Clemson running down the hill. Even though I feel like there's got to be video footage of somebody falling. There's got to be. I think it's pretty cool with the balloons and everything.
The balloons are gone. Balloons are gone.
Really?
They got rid of that a couple years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. But they still have the rock though. That's the main thing.
They still got the rock. Yeah. All right. Well, that's my number 5. Clemson running down the hill. It's pretty exciting. Who's next?
All right, Pete's next. You're number 5, Pete.
Well, it looks like we're trading back and forth here. We did not plan this, but my number 5 is actually the singing in Rocky Top. I would actually put what's the one that they sing at West Virginia?
Country Road.
Country Roads, yeah. So I put that in the same thing. So those two are two recognizable, very recognizable, like popular culture songs that are also tied to a university, and you don't see that a whole lot. So I do, and plus, I don't have any problem with Tennessee necessarily, but whenever that song comes on on the TV when I'm watching a Tennessee game, I find myself humming along with it. It's just one of those catchy things.
It's a catchy tune. That's for sure. And, we played West Virginia recently in Jeremy Pruitt's first season. And there was a big stink about which one was better, Rocky Top or Country Road.
I like both of them.
And going into that West Virginia game, by all accounts on paper and with everything that was going on, Tennessee should have clobbered that West Virginia team. And they started off on defense because that season, West Virginia was replacing almost their entire defense. So we knew we'd be able to score some points. Tennessee's defense, we just got a defensive-minded coach in Jeremy Pruitt. With everything on paper looked really good. But at the end of the day, it was West Virginia screaming Country Road at the top of their lungs. And that was just a dagger to the heart. But I'd like to get them back on the schedule.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the coach over there now? Who got the West Virginia job?
That was the guy from what the hell is that guy's name? The guy that was at Troy, right?
Troy's coach?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
BVD says West Virginia was a big favorite. Yes, to the sports writers, they were a big favorite because we had a brand new coach, and Dana Holgorsen has a pretty prolific offense.
They also had that daggum quarterback from Florida.
Yeah.
He got kicked off, and then
Who was it? Who was the quarterback at West Virginia BVD that game? I'm wanting to say Appleby, but it wasn't Appleby, was it?
Was it Will Greer?
Will Greer.
yeah,
Yep,
Will Greer.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, but I mean, look what West Virginia did for the rest of the season. I mean, nothing.
Well,
So that's just, to me, that's when we learned how bad a shape. I mean, we knew after the 4-8 season that Tennessee was in bad shape, but at that point you're still thinking it's probably got a lot to do with the culture in the locker room and Butch Jones coaching. And you think you get just a halfway decent college football coach in there, and he's going to do something with that team. And we gave him a little bit of a run there towards the middle of the game. Then Holgorsen went off and scored a bunch of points when our third stringers were in there, so it made the score look pretty ridiculous. But yeah, Will Greer. All right, my number 5, Dixieland Delight. Now everybody in the chat are going to go, what? Dixieland Delight? That's an Alabama tradition. Oh my God, how could you possibly say that? Dixieland Delight is a song about Tennessee. And that's why it's my number 5 on my top 5 list of college football traditions that do not happen at your school. Because Alabama loves us so much that they decided to sing a song about us.
Oh, look at that. Shots fired.
There you go.
Number 4. All right, I've made this very clear. I've grinded my gears about it. I'm not a big fan of music at football games, but I will say this one time, Virginia Tech Enter Sandman entrance. I think it's pretty cool.
I've been there for that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
cool. That's a great tune. It's a great song to get you fired up for a ball game. Scott Cawhorn on Facebook said that it was a Toledo player, different UT. Toledo player by the name of Janelle J.T. Douglas was shot and killed recently.
Okay. Well, there was a former Tennessee Vol that died. I do know that.
Yeah, that's. But I think it happened 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago. Maybe even more recent, or maybe more recent than that. But I think it was pretty good while ago. All right. Let's see. Carter, you're number 4.
No, it's Pete's turn. I just did.
Yeah, he just.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Pete, you're number 4.
My number 4 is one of the funniest things in all of college football. Is at Oklahoma when they run that boomer schooner thing around the field with the horse and carriage, the covered wagon they got going on. Of course, we saw what happened last year. Finally, that thing went wrong, and those people got thrown off.
Yes.
And they busted that wagon all to hell.
Well, it's happened. It's happened more than once.
Yeah.
They've rolled the schooner more than once for sure.
Well, here's the reason why. These aren't horses. These are little Shetland ponies. They're like midget horses, mini horses, and they got this little wagon, and they got a big fat girl, aka Miss Oklahoma, and 2 idiots, waving paddles. So that's called animal abuse. I'm calling PETA.
But I think that anytime they use like live animals, like farm animals or whatever, in football is always a good time. So I love the boomer schooner thing, the covered wagon.
Yeah.
All right, number 4 for me, and this is not necessarily a college tradition. It has to do with 2 college traditions, 2 mascots. Last 2 seasons ago, when Bevo nearly gored Uga. As a former Texas A&M fan and current Texas A&M indifferent and Volunteers fan, that seems a little sacrilege to say anything to do with Bevo is on my top 5, but man, whenever Uga got close to him and he lowered his horns and went after him, I laughed my butt off. That was fantastic.
That changed the whole momentum.
It did.
The game on the field went the same way.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And Georgia on paper should have destroyed Texas. Should have destroyed them.
Yeah.
So there's something to all this traditions, and I don't care what anybody says. And one of the guys that I listen to a lot is Josh Pate over on Lake Kick. I really like his take on a lot of things, But one of the bad takes that he has is he says momentum does not play a part in college football. And I think that's just about as polar opposite of the truth as you can be, because momentum is what leads Appalachian State to knock off a top 10 Michigan team. Momentum is what causes Georgia State to be able to take down Tennessee.
You had to bring that up.
Momentum is why the Raging Cajuns were able to knock off
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah, momentum is a real thing. It messes with the psyche of the players and the coaches.
It does. When you're, and if you've never played sports, when you're on the field and a team that you should be clobbering is hanging with you, it just starts to wear on you mentally, and you start to wonder, what is it that they know, what is it that they prepared for, how much time did they spend in the weight room before they came and got on the field with us. And then you start to doubt yourself. And when you start to doubt yourself, the other team's confidence level rises because you're not as hard to push around anymore. They go into the game with a lot of fear. The underdog goes into the game with a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty, and then all of a sudden things get easier. They pull ahead. Next thing you know, they're pulling off major upsets. So I think absolutely momentum, psychological warfare in the game is a massive part of the game, and I would venture to say that that Bevo taking a shot at UGA fired them boys over on the Texas sidelines up. And that's how they pulled out the win.
You know, it's funny you talked about I think you meant Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah, Louisiana Monroe.
Lafayette.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is my dad was at that game. You know, him being a Bama fan and everything. They showed up in school buses, yellow school buses, and beat Alabama.
Yes.
No,
Wow.
I always thought that was funny. Anyway, number three?
Number 3.
Yeah. All right. This probably should be number 1, but it's the Army-Navy game. Everything about it. The game, the pregame, halftime, all of it. I love it.
Yeah, I love the military academy matchups.
So I've told this before on my own channel, but my father's a Naval Academy grad, and that's obviously his favorite game of the year. But he graduated the same year as Roger Staubach, 1965.
Wow.
So they were classmates. And so obviously my dad was at Navy whenever they were a powerhouse. Not so much anymore. But yeah, that's a tradition unto itself, like BBD says in the comment section.
Yeah.
All right, over in the comments section there. Let's see. We got somebody's giving his top 5. It's BVD. 4 dotting the I. Oh, see, he said number 5 was the Gator Chomp. Why would you put the Gator Chomp in your top 5? Number 4 dotting the I. Number 3 Boomer Schooner wrecking. number 2 FSU's stupid ass chop, if I'm being specific. And number 1 the Army Navy game.
I think he was listening in on our call earlier.
I think so.
He's got a lot of ours in, that we picked.
Big Dog Brett says, "What's up, gents?" And Glitter Gators in the house. What's going on, fellas? What's up?
What's up, Big Dog Brett? How you doing?
And
Glitter Gator.
Duke Nukem's wanting to know if his comments are registering. Yes, sir, they are. I can see you. All right. So, Pete, you're number 3.
My number 3 is the whiteout at Penn State. Now, you know what? I don't even know how long they've been doing this exactly. Does anybody know what year they started doing that?
I know they were doing it in the 90s.
Yeah.
I remember the first time seeing it when I was in high school, and I thought it was pretty cool.
It's cool. It's definitely visually stunning on TV. I can imagine being there. It just seems like for some reason, it's not just the visual of the whiteout, but the whole energy of that place when they do the whiteout is just, it's what college football is all about. So I love it.
Yes, absolutely. Tennessee did its own version of that recently with the checkerboard, and why that's not been done until just a few years ago, I'll never wrap my head around. But
yeah, because we did it in basketball first. We did that like 10 years before we ever did it in football. I never understood that.
Was Tennessee the first one to do? Because Oklahoma does that now,
yeah, I think Oklahoma did it, or Iowa was the first one I remember seeing ever doing it with the black and yellow.
Yeah, the couple of guys at a media company decided they'd draw up a graphic of what it would look like if you checkerboard Neyland, and now we do it every year. That's how traditions are born. I love it.
So when you get your ticket in your section, they tell you what color shirt to wear. Is what I'm assuming, right?
It flies around social media,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and everybody knows. This section is orange, that section's white,
Gotcha.
and you'll see a couple of guys in there that, in the early part of the game that are wearing an orange shirt or a gray shirt in the white section. But before the game's over, the fans will pass around extra shirts and stuff like that.
I was gonna say, imagine how much of an asshole you'd feel like if you're wearing an orange shirt and a white section. Everyone's looking at you, like
Yeah.
what's wrong with this guy?
Which we haven't done it since Pruitt's been the coach, which hopefully we will again, but we'll see. He's just not big into, flashy stuff for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I mean, we wear black cleats now, which I didn't really like that. But,
Gate City's in the house too. It says just feels right on a Thursday morning.
shout out to Gate City, Flint.
Yeah,
He
man.
won the keyboard the other day.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Big Dog Brett says one of his top 5 college kissing Mullen's wife.
That's a hell of a tradition there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Man, that's a Gator tradition. I love it. All right, my number 3 is now. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I may be wrong about this. When the Seminole Chief rides in Florida State Stadium, throws the flaming spear down in the middle of the field. That's Osceola, right?
Yes.
Chief Osceola, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do brand him Osceola. Okay. I just wanted to, I was going to say when Osceola rides in, I did not want to misspeak if that was not the case.
Yeah, I think the guy's real name is Patrick or something like that. He's a white guy.
Jeff. Yeah. It's amazing to me in today's climate that hadn't been tagged as cultural appropriation. Yeah. But
yeah.
But yeah.
Oh,
so
they take care of those Seminole Indians over. They get a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
well, it's a great thing when he rides in, and I despise FSU. I have no love for that team, but when that guy rides in on his horse and throws a flaming spear down in the middle of the field, that's just college football to me.
It is pretty cool. I like it too.
All right, Mr. Carter, number 2.
So number 2 for me, being an Atlanta Braves fan, I just figured I'd throw it in Florida State's tomahawk chop. Even though probably not going to be able to do it no more in baseball, which sucks. But yeah, I had to put it in there. So
Duke says, "Well, I'm gonna trash talk Pete. If Tennessee didn't have that raggedy ass head coach that his name is not allowed to mention on this platform ever again, Clemson wouldn't have gotten Trevor Lawrence, or Amari Rodgers, or Tajh Boyd, for that matter."
Why wouldn't Tajh Boyd have gone to Virginia Tech instead of Tennessee? He's from Virginia.
He was. I mean, I thought when Tajh Boyd was being recruited, I thought he was a lock at Tennessee.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Everything around here said he was a lock.
Okay. I know Virginia Tech recruited him real hard. He's a hometown guy. He's from Virginia Beach area, but
yeah, I think whenever he made his announcement, Tennessee was number 1, Clemson was number 2, and Virginia Tech was number 3 on the crystal ball list. I thought we had him.
Well, who was that said that in the comment section again?
That was Duke Nukem.
All right, tell Duke if ands and buts were candy and nuts, that every day would be Christmas. That has nothing to do with anything. But thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. But you've got to think if Trevor Lawrence comes to Tennessee, we don't have a season last year with Jarrett Garantano and our piece together quarterback core.
He actually missed out on one there. Trevor Lawrence, Amari Rodgers, and T. Higgins.
Yeah, T. Higgins. Yep, T. Higgins. Yep.
Yeah.
Tennessee guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mr. Jones, a gift that keeps on giving.
Yes. But we're turning the tables now. We're making some recruiting noise. Where do we stand on the current 247 ranks, Carter?
4.
Number 4. So we're starting to slide.
Yeah. Well, that's just. I mean, we've already got 25 commits, and teams like Georgia and teams like that, they're right there behind us, and they've only got like 15 commits, so they can get 10 more.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we're starting to slide. We knew it was going to happen. I just hope that they don't slide out of the top 10.
Yeah, maybe not.
And I'll say this about the 25 kids that we do have committed. I'm ecstatic about all of them. There's not a kid on there that I'm kind of like, well, we could replace him with some better talent. I think Pruitt's doing a really good job of filling in the holes where they need to be filled in.
Yeah. And listen, obviously recruiting matters. You need the players to win the games, but I really don't see that much of a difference between the 10th recruiting class and the 5th recruiting class
Right,
on paper.
right.
So,
Yeah, and Carter and I have talked about this before. The talent gap between a 5-star and a 4-star kid is
yeah, right.
almost unrecognizable.
It's subjective, right? Yeah.
Yes, it's all in the
The
writer or
height,
the evaluator's opinion.
right.
Yeah, but the gap between the 5 stars and the 3 stars is quite obvious.
Well, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, so when you getting a roster full of 3 stars, which is what Butch Jones did, he just tried to pile in as many 3 stars as he could for that. I mean, that's how he got top 5, top 7, top 17 recruiting classes. Was he hit
It's
them? He hit
quantity,
them.
not
Yeah, he
quality.
hit them with the numbers. He was
Mhm.
hoping to find those diamonds in the rough. I guess his thought process was, if I get 40 3 stars in here, there's bound to be 20 good kids out of that group.
And that's been something that Clemson and Dabo Swinney have done great. I mean, they've got a lot of 3 stars that turned out to be,
Yeah.
elite players. And
Yes.
but that all comes with, first of all, spotting talent, being able, having the eye for the talent,
Right.
and then the development of them. I mean,
Right.
and that's what separates the great coaches from the good coaches.
And yeah, and a
Yep.
5-star kid is fantastic to have, but you can, you know, and I'm not gonna I'm trying my best not to give Butch Jones credit here. When Butch Jones was recruiting for the offensive line and the defensive line, Butch Jones's offense had a lot of pulling guards, a lot of tackles getting out in space in the outside of the field and running as lead blockers and things. So he needed smaller bodied linemen that could move their feet, that had some speed to them. So we had a fast line, we had a fast offensive line, and we had a fast defensive line. We just did not have the size. And you can go out to the Pac-12, you can go up to the Big Ten, and you can do that, and you can get away with it. And you can do it in any mid-major conference, any Group of 5 conference, and have a lot of success. But in the SEC, the ACC, and probably in the Big 12, that just doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
You got to have those big-bodied linemen. So that's that, and the point for me saying that was you can get a 3-star kid that's 280 pounds and runs a 4.640, and he fits your system better than a 350-pound kid that runs a 5.3. And you'll have more success with the 3-star kid. So, but that being said, when things hit the fan in Tennessee and we had to bring in a new coach, he had nothing to work with.
Right.
So, all right.
Number 1.
We haven't done number 2 yet.
Yeah. Okay. I did mine. It's your turn. Sorry.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Pete's number 2.
Number 2 for me is the entrance for the USC, the real USC, not the fake one up there in Columbia, the Southern California Trojans, where that guy dressed up as a warrior Trojan comes out with that sword and stabs the sword into the ground and gets on his knee. And I don't even know why that's so cool to me. That's just part to me of the pageantry of college football. I mean, a guy's dressed up like a Trojan. It looks completely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. To me, it's always been cool. And that probably goes back to, back when USC was a powerhouse and all of their games were on TV, at least here where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I got to watch that every weekend. I thought it was pretty cool.
In the SEC, Pete, we refer to that team from Columbia as USC Junior.
Yeah, USC Junior, right. And the great words of Dabo Swinney, he said, USC is in California and Carolina's in Chapel Hill.
There you go. All right. Duke Nukem wants to know what the hell is up with Howard's Rock.
What do you mean?
He wants to know what the hell is up with Howard's Rock. It's a tradition. Explain yourself.
He wants to know what it is?
I think he's our understanding is that it's a magic rock. Is that
no?
Is
no.
That...
So the legendary coach Frank Howard, who's obviously a Alabama guy, he was the longest running coach at Clemson. He coached there for 30 seasons. the field is named after Frank Howard. The Death Valley is Frank Howard Field. He was given that as a gift by somebody who went to Death Valley, California, and brought him back this rock. All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
So eventually, what he'd used it for, he didn't care about the rock. He's like, somebody just used that. The legend is that he used the rock as a doorstop at his office.
Okay.
And that stayed there for a while. And then eventually they came up with the idea to rub the rock for good luck, because it was from Death Valley, and they called the stadium Death Valley and all that.
Got it.
So that's where that came from.
All right, there you go, Duke. Question answered. All right, my number 2. I did not know that it was from actual Death Valley. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dotting the I at Ohio State. Ohio State's banned. When they make that cursive Ohio cursive. There's probably a lot of people in the stands these days that can't read that because they don't teach cursive anymore. But they make that big cursive Ohio, and then I guess there's an honorary I daughter every game, isn't there?
I daughter, yeah, I believe so.
Like Mr. Two Bits, over at Florida. But yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool when bands get into, making shapes and telling a story on the field in their formations and things like that. And that's just, I think it's one of
nothing beats the Tennessee circle drill. I'll tell you what.
That's right. I just think that, dotting the I is probably one of the coolest traditions, one of the most college football type things you can do.
Yeah.
All
if
right,
you ever hear an Ohio State fan yell out "OH" and then they expect you to say "IO," just say "NO."
Listen, I learned that 3 years ago. I learned to say "NO," and we have out here in Campbell County. There's a big lake out here called Norris Lake, and for some reason, it is the hotspot, the hotbed of Ohio summer vacationers.
That and Myrtle Beach.
Yes. And so we've got a little resort out here. It's called Shanghai Resort. It's here in La Follette, Tennessee. And you go out there and you try to have dinner on the lake, and you sit and listen to the conversation, and it's a bunch of, I'll have a pop, it's really northern accents and stuff like that. And they do that. They'll all sit. Somebody walks into the to the restaurant or out on the deck, and they're wearing an Ohio State shirt. Everybody in the crowd will go OH, or somebody in the crowd will go OH, and then everybody else says IO.
Right.
So I'm out there. This was last year, and somebody yelled out OH, and before anybody else could yell out IO, I yelled NO, and it's a miracle that I can come out wearing everybody's dinner. Everybody just got quiet. They didn't even say the IO afterwards. They all just looked at me and stared.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, and I had taken my hat off because we're at we're at the dinner table. It's a old thing. My grandfather really was a stickler for it. I had taken my hat off, and it was a Tennessee hat, and everybody's staring at me, and I just reached down and I picked up my Tennessee hat and put it on, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's a local,"
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so. Yeah, don't recommend that you do that, especially if you were in Ohio. But because I was in Tennessee, I think I was safe.
Yeah.
Ask old BVD. He lived in Ohio for a while.
Is BVD an Ohioan?
No, I don't think. No, not originally, but he did live there for a while.
Half of Ohio has moved down here where I live. I'm not even kidding.
Duke wants to know if Howard's Rock is that rock that Joe Dirt ate his French fries off
of. I don't know. You have to ask Joe Dirt about that. Maybe it was. I don't know.
All right. Cursive is the only way to write. The legend. That's NASCAR. BVD says the legend is some Clemtard tried to steal the damn thing and broke it.
That was a South Carolina fan, wasn't it?
No, it was a Clemson student. I think it was a student.
I did know it got broke, and there's like a big chunk missing out of it.
Yeah, so it used to be just be freestanding, and anybody could go and touch it. Now they have a bulletproof encasing over the thing because somebody went there with a chisel and tried to break it. They got a big chunk of it off of there. They did, yeah.
Glitter Gator says,
Mm.
Josh, nobody laughed with you. You're right. It was just dead silence at that restaurant, and I got a bunch of dirty looks for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
I guess the Egg Bowl pissing contest is actually my number one now. Gate City Blue Devil.
That's great. My number one is Ralphie. I love Ralphie, man. Ralphie leading the Buffs out on the field. I'm just waiting for him to get loose and, ram
Gore
at some
somebody.
people.
Yeah.
Gore somebody.
That's probably going to happen eventually. Surprised it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah. So that's my number one.
Fireball says 1-0 versus the Suck Eyes. We own Ohio State.
Yeah, it took Ohio State a while to finally beat an SEC team. Way to go, Arkansas.
Tennessee's got a really good record against the Big Ten here lately.
Except Penn State.
But we hadn't played them since, what, the 80s?
No, 2006.
No way.
2007.
Did we?
Yeah. Got beat 20-10 in Outback Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Ohio State's 0-6 against the entire state of South Carolina. 0-4 against Clemson and 0-2 against South Carolina. That's pretty sad.
Since Fulmer left, I think we're undefeated against the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Iowa, Northwestern, Nebraska's in the Big 12, but they used to be Big 10. They were in the Big 10 when we played them, though, weren't they?
No, they used to be in the Big 12.
Used to be in the Big 12, and now they're in the Big 10.
They're in the Big 10 when we played them.
You're right. So, yeah, they were in the Big 10 when we played them. Beat them. Beat Indiana.
Beat Iowa.
Yep. Iowa.
Beat Northwestern.
Big Vol Daddy in the chat here says, I wonder how many Clemson fans have a big chunk of rock in their man cave and tell their buddies, yep, that's the other half. I tell you one thing. I would pay pretty good money for that piece of that rock that somebody took. I would.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I've got a little piece of Neyland, the field. I've got a little piece of the field here at the house.
I actually got a little piece of the field and I ate it. I did.
Les Miles style.
Actually, I still got somewhere in here in a drawer. I got an old piece of like a twig. It looks like a little twig. It was from some of the hedges from Georgia when we beat them one year. I started pulling that crap out.
You guys know that Dabo Swinney takes some of the turf from Death Valley and puts it in his pocket at road games and sprinkles it on the field of the away team.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool tradition.
Yep.
All right.
So my number one tradition is one that I think we can all get behind, and it kind of goes along with the Army-Navy one. But when the players and coaches in the entire stadium, for that matter, waves in Iowa, I don't know, is it at halftime or at the end of the third quarter or something like that?
End of the third quarter.
End of the third quarter, and they wave at the kids in the children's hospital.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, come on. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it till a couple of years ago. That was one of those that I guess they kept in their back pocket. And,
no, they hadn't been doing it that long.
Yeah.
Had they not? Mm-mm. That's fantastic. I love it.
I feel like it started with one specific patient that was, obviously dying.
A big fan, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the SEC Network, I think, did a story on it. I know ESPN's done it since then, but I think SEC Network was one of the first to break it or do the story on it. And that's how I learned about it. So I think it's fantastic. It's great. BVD wants to know, what would you do with it, Pete? Sell it back to Clemson?
No way, man. I'd put it in my man cave, just like you said.
All right. My number one is, and everybody, I'm going to catch so much shit for this, but my number one is the 12th man. The 12th man at Texas A&M. And you can bring on the comments, guys. Bring them on. I know.
Hey, do you like when the ROTC kids swing around those giant ropes? Is that what you like about it?
Listen, when the fan base can affect a game, that's huge. When your team's on the ropes and they need a big stop and you're so loud that the team can't communicate and they have to call timeout, or they have to get the delay a game, or fan base is getting a delay a game for another team. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
What are you doing there, Carter?
He's doing sign language over there.
I know. I only know the Coast Guard signs. I don't know the Navy. What are you doing?
That's funny. That's funny.
Anyway, yeah. So Texas A&M, home of the 12th man. If you've never been to a Texas A&M game, I suggest you go to Kyle Field. Go when they're playing against your team. Go just
Have
to
you been there
go.
since it's been renovated?
I have not.
Hmm.
I've not been since I moved to Tennessee, but I can remember, and it's not a bowl, man. It's open on the ends, and it's still so stinking loud in there.
Yeah, I'd like to go there.
It's every play. If you get caught not yelling during the other team's defensive play, if you sit down, they throw stuff at you. If you don't yell, they call you a one percenter and ask you to leave the stadium. I mean, I'm not joking. The first time I ever went to a Texas A&M game, and I did not know that. We were up for like halfway through the first quarter, and my legs got tired, and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and sit down. I sat down, and next thing I know, uh, a drink cup with the lid still on it smacked me across the back of the head. I had soda running all down my shirt. And I was like, "What the hell?" And I got up and I turned around and looked, and I thought somebody, was just doing something, just making a joke. And I was like, "What the hell?" And as soon as I started to say "What the hell," everybody in the rows behind me were like, "Stand your ass up," and
Yeah.
freaking one percenter and all this stuff. So
I wonder if they did it to like a 90-year-old man.
they will do it. They will do it. But
Well, if you're a Tennessee fan now, so they were kind of right. You kind of are a one percenter.
Yeah, you're right. Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how that happened, Pigskin. I enrolled at Tennessee in the year that I moved to Tennessee to go to the university here. Texas A&M and Tennessee were playing in the Cotton Bowl.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was running around campus and all around town telling everybody Texas A&M was about to run in there and just run Tennessee out of the stadium, and Tennessee just clobbered them.
How'd that work out?
Tennessee just clobbered them, and I was like, man, I look stupid.
And the best thing about it was,
I look stupid. Yeah, go ahead.
We beat them 38-7 with
Yeah.
a third string quarterback.
Yes.
Oh.
And I was like, not only do I look stupid, but I look stupid on their home turf. I'm going to be here for the next 4 years. I better go check out a game. I love college football. I'll go check out a game. And I went to Tennessee Notre Dame. It was the first ever Tennessee game that I attended in Neyland Stadium, and Tennessee lost, but it was like 10-7 or something like that, 17-10. It was a low scoring game.
17-13.
Yeah, it was a really great atmosphere. I loved the fan base. I was like, these guys don't have the tradition that Texas A&M has when it comes to being loud, but they're louder, So I just really fell in love with Tennessee football, and I just never looked back. But that's it. My biggest tradition that's not Tennessee related, the 12th man at Texas A&M. Because anytime the fans can get involved in a ball game and affect the outcome, that's a win in my book.
I agree.
All right, that does it for our top 5. And next up, we've got our whack ass tradition. As soon as I get Mr. Carter realigned here, because his video cut out for some reason.
I don't know why.
I don't know either. Your video went dormant apparently, and Pigskin took your place.
Musical chairs.
I know it. All right, so next up, whack ass tradition. We got a whack ass tradition. Carter, do you wanna lead that one in?
Yeah, I just never have liked it. I never thought it was that cool, and I seen it live in person once in 2017. Mm-hmm. The Rambling Wreck of Georgia Tech. That stupid ass car. I mean, yeah, it's a nice older car, but I don't get all the hype.
Let me go ahead and show the folks what we're talking about. Boom. There it is. While I try to fix your window capture.
There you go. Look at that thing.
I know. It's beautiful, isn't it?
The girls aren't even hot. Look at
Hmm.
Oh, man. I love it. This is why I love college football.
So my whack ass prediction, if you're ready for it.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna piss some Mississippi State fans off with this, but I can't stand the cowbell thing. I just can't. I can't stomach it. My dying wish would to be to travel the country when I'm retired or at some point, or if I win the lottery, and go to every single Power Five school a home game there. I don't know if I'd be looking forward to going to Mississippi State though. I don't think I could stand that noise for 3.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, if I'm watching a Mississippi State game on TV and they're playing at home, I put it on mute. I can't listen to that.
I know it's really, really loud, really annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's constant too. It's like the whole game from the time the kickoff before the game starts till the game's over.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to one game there, and I wouldn't say that it was just overly loud, but it was when you leave the game and you get in your car, you still hear that damn ringing.
It's like when you're on a boat and you get off the boat and you still feels like you're in the boat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know that.
Yeah. We've talked about it before here on the show. The dadgum, man, what is going on with this window? I don't know. I can't get it. I can't figure it out. So we might not get to see Carter for the rest of the show. Probably a lot of people out there that wouldn't complain about that.
Fine with me.
Anyway, something. I mean, it's really gone haywire here. I don't know. Anyway, continue talking about the Ramblin' Wreck or whatever it is that you want to.
Well, Pete, now, have you seen it in person before?
The car? No, I've never been to Georgia Tech game before. No, I mean not in Atlanta. I haven't.
I mean, I've never been to Bobby Turd Stadium. I mean, I've seen him at which I shouldn't really be talking about Bobby Dodd because he's a Tennessee player, but I saw him, in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. They had that stupid car, so.
Yeah, I've never seen the car in person. But I've seen 100 pictures of it. Can't look much different in person than it does in a picture. Big Vol Daddy says, which is worse, that old ass car or the Oregon's Harley? Now, at least the Harley's cool because it's a Harley. I mean,
it's not cool though when Puddles is riding bitch on it
though. That's true. That's true. But the bike itself is cool though, I think.
Yeah.
Carter, are you going to turn your video back on so I can size you back in here?
It is.
What is going on, man? It's only picking up Pete.
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Hashtag professional.
Hashtag professional. That's the motto here at
I think that's the motto of every YouTuber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We may have to get Carter to go off the video and come back in one more time. Oh, there we go. I just asked you to start your video again. Did you get that notification, Carter?
Yes, but
I'll tell you what, guys. I got to go in like 4 minutes anyway because it's almost 11:15. So I can bow out and he can come back on then.
Oh, it's no problem. We'll roll through the memes, and then it's just a salute to the ladies of the SEC and we're out. So
okay, all right,
no big. All right, moving on to General Nealon's 7 memes. Here we go. Meme number 7. Sad clowns are my favorite clowns. Bunch of Florida State fans. They're all dressed up like Osceola. That's sad. That is sad.
Oh, man. Bunch of white people dressed up like Indians. Look at that.
This is for you. This is all for you, Mr. Pete.
Thank you. This is great.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. Florida State. When Nickelback's hating on you, that's a sad state of affairs.
That's a good one.
And then here is, oh man, I forget this actor's name. The guy that played the dad in Friday. What's his name?
Oh, he just died
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, he just passed away.
He was hilarious too.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved him. He's dressed as Willie Taggart and says, "Okay, I lied on my application for Florida State."
That's a good one.
I love it. And here's a little bit of mutual hate when it's time for Alabama to kick the extra point.
I'm on a delay here. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, it's a good one. Now,
you know what though? Unfortunately, that's the same for Clemson. We haven't had a good kicker in I don't know how long.
When you're scoring as many points as you do,
well, yeah,
it's not as important. Yeah. All right, and this one I'm sure you'll appreciate. Got rejected by Clemson, accepted by South Carolina.
Now I'm going to tell you what. The reason that is funny is because it's true, and I know this firsthand. Is I know several of my friends and even a couple of family members that wanted to go to Clemson, didn't get in, and instead went to South Carolina. So that's a fact.
I know it is, and that's I was trying my hardest to get into the veterinary school at Texas A&M. It's just so hard to do. You got to know somebody. You got to have just absolutely pristine records and letters of recommendation. And I started looking around. The whole reason why I enrolled at Tennessee is I started looking around at alternative veterinary schools. Yeah. And Tennessee was pretty infamous for holding out quite a few seats for its own undergrads. And so that's why I came to Tennessee. I thought I had a better shot at vet school.
Plus, I mean, South Carolina's the tuition's cheaper at South Carolina. They have twice as many students, or more than twice the amount of students that Clemson has. Clemson only has like 19,000 students.
Sure.
And South Carolina's got like 40 something. So.
BVD says, "Don't sweat it, Pete. Carter leaves my stream early every Sunday. It would be nice to see someone do it to him for a change." Speaking of Pete's, there's Pete Carroll. Alabama running it from the 1-yard line to win the championship. What kind of nonsense is that? And last, but and I hope that you didn't think you were going to get away from this without us dogging on Clemson a little bit. Number one,
yeah, go ahead.
Number one meme. Both may be Tigers, but one is a Pinterest fail.
Oh, come on.
Wait until it pops up. Wait until it pops up.
Oh, man.
We had to do it. We had to do it.
I can appreciate that one. I can laugh at that one. That one's funny.
Yeah. All right. Dumpster fire program of the day. I forgot about this in between our salute to the SEC ladies as we roll out of here. But dumpster fire of the day. We hit them pretty hard at the beginning of the Neyland 7 memes. It's going to be Florida State. Florida State is an absolute dumpster fire. To have won a national championship just a few years ago and be in the sad state of affairs that they're in now after the departure of Jimbo Fisher. Just absolutely sad. How many games did they win last season with Taggart? 4? 3?
Yeah. I think 4.
Yeah.
Anyway, the downfall of Florida State actually started when Jimbo Fisher was still there. So
yes.
But he left them in a back. That whole thing. I mean, everything that can go wrong in an athletic, football program went wrong all at one time. And
we know it all too well here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a great coach for a long time. He had a bad season or two, and it was on the decline. And we booted him, and we've been paying for it for over a decade now.
Yeah, I spent about 5 minutes feeling sorry for Florida State, and then I remembered I hate them, so I don't feel sorry for them anymore.
There you go. And I got a few memes up here. I want to pull up on an FSU fan that's been hiding. Breaking news, Florida State sucks. And then, of course, our favorite. We use it for just about every team that we hate. Stevie Wonder, Florida State looking good this year. All right. That's going to do it for us. Pete, anything you want to add? You want to tell the folks where they can find you?
Find me over on YouTube, Pigskin Pete. Pete with 3 E's, Peete. Yeah, that's pretty much where I do my stuff. I'm on Twitter as well at Pete Pigskin. I like to go have fun and do some trash talking on Twitter if that's what people like to see. That's about it, man.
There you go. If you want to find out what's going on with the Clemson fan base, Pete's one of the more prolific fan advocates, and you can find him on his Twitter or his YouTube. Go check him out. He's also affiliated with FanPride.zone, so he's in our volunteer roadshow family, and he's just the Clemson branch over there. So go check him out and give him some love from Vol Nation, from Gator Nation, from Dog Nation. I don't know. Do you call them Tide Nation? Sounds weird. We got a lot of Georgia, Florida, and Alabama fans in there in our chat groups, and well, hopefully they'll come check you out. All right, so that's going to do it. Carter, anything else for you? Are you still with us? Sorry, guys.
I'm sorry. No, I'm right here.
I was going to say,
I didn't know I was.
Carter got abducted by the aliens.
He was taking a nap.
I was talking the whole time. I was wondering why nobody would say nothing.
I thought you went to go throw up again.
No.
Yeah, it's hard for us Tennessee fans to see another team in orange just killing it out there. So Carter's stomach's been queasy all morning.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm having flashbacks of that damn Peach Bowl.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to give away the golden keyboard. And guys, I didn't see anything that rivaled Scott Cawhorn's. But I'm open to suggestions. What do you got for me?
I think that was the best one. Yeah.
That'll be like the third time he's won it, I think.
Yeah, he's a commenter, man. He knows how to sling the mud. I love it. All right, Scott Cawhorn, you know what to do, buddy. Give us contact. Carter will get something out to you. Congratulations, you are the winner of the coveted Golden Keyboard Award. Wear it with pride. Show it to all your friends. Take it to Thanksgiving dinner. We love you. Appreciate you being in the comments section. We're going to close her out, as per usual, with our salute to the ladies of the SEC. And I know, Pete, you said you had to roll out. But,
yeah, I'll stick around for this.
Before you do, you might want to hang around for about 3 or 4 minutes. Here we go.
I'll watch real quick, Scott. I already sent out that one package, so you should be getting it. So let's see another one.
Awesome. All right, here we go, guys. Salute to the ladies of the SEC. Y'all have a good one. We love you. Go Big Orange. And that goes both ways, even with our guests here.
Go Tigers.